parking lot of a liquor store. Now you're in the alley some damn where. Good God.
Man, I'm at my crib tonight, man. I'm at my crib tonight.
It's on the stairway. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm just sitting on the stairs, man.
The last couple of weeks, Corey, I think you and I both been at it. I seen you. I think you was in the truck last week twice, and I was like in a. My internet was acting up at home, and so I was at a hotel lobby. I was at the MGM Grand a couple nights ago because my internet was acting crazy. I was just telling Fred that I had to get a new modem today, so I logged in early. And the modem is working great. What's up, y'all? I just seen y'all popping in. Welcome back to the show. We are live. We are excited about tonight. We're starting a new series, by the way. And so as we get ready to get everybody on and get ready to really do it tonight, Fred, do me a favor, bro.
Yes, sir.
Before we jump in, man, a lot of people was asking us about the book that we read, The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. Give like our audience maybe like a 3 to 5 minute snippet summary, what it is that you think that we got from the book as a collective, but then also what maybe you got from it. Maybe do 3 minutes, man, then we'll jump into the conversation.
The book by David Deida was an interesting just excursion into male-female relationships in general, relationships where one party assumes a masculine sort of identity and the other more feminine identity, with all of the just the inherent communication woes that might follow, and also a lot of the charm and just ways that we can appreciate each other and love each other and work hard to understand each other and make our relationships work. We explored it kind of like guys sitting around the barbershop, just talking through the way we felt about our relationships with our wives, our partners, or whoever, and some of our experiences as we've grown to be the gentlemen that we are today. For me, it was an opportunity to really hear very honestly and very frankly from some men who are about as transparent as any one that I've ever met in my entire life. It would have taken months and months and months and years to develop relationships that the way I've developed during this webcast. But I learned from them a lot about what I've been blessed sometimes not to experience, and also things in my relationship that will help me better understand my wife and the way I communicate with her. A large thrust of the discussion and the topics of the book were about difficulties we have in communicating as men and women. We communicate entirely different. That's something that has to be acknowledged. It's something that we have to work around, and communication is the key. If we explain to each other as couples, as pairs, as mates, lovers and friends, why we think the way we do, why we say the things that we say, it helps accelerate our friends and lovers and mates' knowledge of us and how they can more quickly understand us when we speak. Likewise, and vice versa. We also discussed, and I think one of the primary thrusts of the book is the spiritual component of relationships, at least from our Christian point of view. And I don't want to speak for anybody or overgeneralize, but I've gotten to know these young men, and I think I'm correct. From our point of view, one of the foundations of a successful relationship, of an enduring relationship, is having a common ground. And for us, that common ground has been our faith in God and our spouse's like-mindedness. Am I starting to ramble yet? Because I can't.
No, you good. You good. Let's go ahead and shift, man. I'm just glad that you really brought up the book, because I don't want people to think that we just read this book, we just offered a couple of quotes from the book and then we moving on. Like, the book was a phenomenal read, and I'm glad, Fred, you talked about the spiritual piece, because you're right. I think that, Corey, we shifted, the last couple of weeks really into the spiritual realm, and that's not how we started. I mean, we were talking about, like, how to please your woman when it comes to the bedroom. We were talking about, like, date spots. We were talking about, all that kind of stuff. And then towards the end, we really took a shift, man, and really dived into the spirit, man. And I think it was a great eye-opening experience for all of us, because we became even more vulnerable and transparent about our lives, our relationships, past, present, the failed ones, the new ones. And so, it was just an exciting ride just to be with y'all in that book, man. It really was.
Agreed.
Yeah, great time, man. Great time. I think that because, as Fred alluded to, because of our foundation, because of who we are, it's like a boomerang. No matter what we throw out there, at some point we know it's coming back to the root, to our foundation, which is spirituality. All of us are leaders in our own right. And in 2020, if you want to be an effective leader, you got to have a foundation. And that's just not leading an organization or leading a business or leading a church, but even leading your family. There's got to be a spiritual foundation. There's got to be something that you can tap into when you feel like you're drained, somebody that you can plug into when you feel like you're powerless. And so ultimately, no matter how left these conversations go, they always seem to center themselves by the end because of who we are and the message that God has given us to give to the world.
I think the last broadcast, we really got deeper into that, starting to explore the foundation of that faith when we started discussing humility and being having a gentle enough spirit, a humble enough spirit to apologize and to try to overcome your own personal pride. I think that's something that we all agreed on in the end as a result of reading the book, that spirit of humility is the thing that allows you to be selfless enough to care for somebody else in an unconditional way that would lead to an enduring relationship, one that lasts until death you do part, or whatever. But humility and not trying to win personally in your relationships, but to win as a couple. You shouldn't be trying to win arguments. You should be trying to make points. You shouldn't, if your words start with you in accusatory fashion, you're not trying to settle, discussions, but trying to win, then that means that your spouse or your lover or your friend or whomever has to lose. And if you care about somebody, you should never want them to lose. And that said, the only other option is for you both to win.
Yeah, I remember you said that, Fred, and it challenged me to really change my perspective on how not only I view relationships, but how I view life. Some of the things that I think help us in relationships is our ability to backtrack and break a mold that was created for us at a different dispensation of our life. Maybe it was when you was a teenager. Maybe it was when you were an adolescent or a toddler. But I've always been extremely competitive. I'm going to compete. I'm going to compete. I'm going to compete. I'm going to compete. You hear me? Mm-hmm. And I feel like, to me, the best defense is a good offense. And that doesn't always work so well in relationships. And so, it took me a little while to realize that my woman wasn't a football field, or she wasn't a business transaction. She wasn't, a basketball court, but she was a beautiful, delicate flower that I had to humble myself and be okay with feeling like maybe I'm right, but for the sake of getting it right, I'll just say, you're right, sweetie. So I think that takes humility. I think oftentimes when you deal with offense, I think the root of offense is pride. We got some things going on in my city right now where young men are getting killed. They dying left and right, man. And ultimately, it's about pride. You offended me on social media. You made me look weak on Facebook. You made me look weak here. And because I've yet to be trained to manage my emotions, then then what happens is, I think I lost y'all. Okay, there it is.
We
Then
hear
what happens is, I'll start walking in pride, and I try to win.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
winning is not what it's always about.
Right.
Yeah. So
Absolutely right. Corey, man, I need your stylist, bro. I mean, I see you got some new things going on. I mean, our hair is probably about the same length, man, but your stylist is on point, bro.
yeah,
You
man.
know,
We're
I'm about to give both of y'all the
highly in
middle
favor
finger.
of the Lord. Just things like that happen, man. So, I live holy and I live right, Fred.
I'm about to give both of y'all the middle finger. I'm tired of your hair. I'm tired of your beards. I'm tired of your light, Corey, and your different settings. And you was at the parking lot of the liquor store last time for the drama and the lights and now you somewhere you got the little things. But man, do you check these locations based on the lighting and all that kind of stuff?
Man.
I'm learning.
Hey, listen, man. The Bible says goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. All right, that's all it is, man. You're just seeing a tangible manifestation of goodness and mercy. That's all. I'll go blue for a little while.
The lighting changing behind you.
It is.
You got to get you some lighting, Fred. Hey, but look, Fred, I just complimented you earlier, man. Your sound quality, and I know Corey can attest to this. Your sound quality, bro. You know what I'm saying? You stepped your game up, man. You know what I'm saying? You graduated. We should celebrate you.
Thanks for telling all our viewers that this is the kind of conversation we have to have off the air. So
thank God for the upgrade.
Y'all see what I'm dealing with, everybody?
Hey, look, but let's dive in, man. I know the fellas are going to join us tonight, man, but it's 45 minutes past the hour. I know we started 15 minutes ago, but for those who are just joining us by web, we are 5 gentlemen who've just come together and have made a clarion announcement that we're going to take conversations that we've had for years in our dormitories as college students, in the barbershop, as adults, on the basketball court, on the football field, in the locker room, on guys' trips, right? We're going to take some of those conversations and bring them here because we recognize how important it is as we enter into relationships, as we strengthen relationships, as we walk into marriage. And so the calls that we jump on each week are comprised of men who have been married, newly married, been married 30 plus years. So you've got a great group of men who really reflect a lot of different experiences, lived experiences. And we don't always agree with one another, but that's not what it's about. It's about having an opportunity to share our thoughts, opinions with each of you. And we hope that what we share resonates with at least a few of you. But one thing I will say is we all have love for one another. And so men who are listening, it ain't all about, as Corey mentioned, it ain't all about being right. Sometimes it's really just allowing yourself to be heard and embracing difference. And so, Fred has had some experiences I probably will never have, Corey. But I certainly applaud him in those experiences, and I don't judge him because of it. But look, tonight, from his lips to her ears, that is the brand. Many of y'all, especially our women listeners, have been asking, when are y'all gonna put women on the show? And y'all need to balance it out. And Pastor Staples, man, his wife has a phenomenal show. Corey and Fred and I have been a part of that, these last couple of weeks. Check her out on Thursday evenings at 7:00, Lady Staples. I think it's Sipping Tea or Relationships 101. I can't remember the name of it, but Sipping Tea. Yeah. Lady Staples is on Facebook, so y'all check her out. And it's just a great group of women who come together and talk about the perspectives of relationships through a female lens. And I enjoy being, listening in and even being invited on. Sometimes I don't even want to be on the show because they say so much good stuff. I just want to listen. And so that's what we want to offer all of you, just a perspective of men. So our series that we're going to jump into probably for the next 4 weeks is How to Love a Man. And tonight we're going to talk about getting to know him. When you are wanting to know how to reach him, connect with him, how to motivate him, how to be part of his world, we're about to tell you. We're about to break it down these next couple of weeks. And tonight, part one, you got to get to know him. And I'm not talking about knowing his favorite color. I'm not talking about making his favorite food. I'm not talking about remembering his birthday. I'm not talking about none of that. I'm talking about deeply, genuinely, and authentically getting to know him. And so Corey, Fred, myself, we got a couple of other guys that's going to pop on. We're going to talk about how you do that, right? Because we don't think that women, you all should know how to do that. We talked early on that, sometimes the instruction of the how has not been taught. And so that's what we want to do these next few weeks is provide that instruction. We're going to give you a manual and it's free. We ain't charging. I've seen so many of these shows, Corey, man, like Cash Apps flying left and right. And I'm like, man, I'm not going to do that on this. There's a time and a place though, right? There's a time and a place for that. And I do recognize that, there's opportunities for ministry and opportunities for those to earn a living off of the knowledge. But I just love y'all so much, man. I jump on here each and every week just to be with y'all. It ain't about no Cash App.
I mean, but just in case you want mine, I'll throw it on the screen later.
I think he's gonna say that. But yeah, let's dive in, man. Let's I know a lot of lady listeners tonight. We applaud y'all. We thank y'all, man. Y'all tune in each and every week. Y'all share our page. Y'all send us comments. I mean, I think I was telling y'all last week, I was at a restaurant near Tycoon Corner, mall called Wildfire. It's kind of like a steakhouse. And I just went, man, on solo. Just wanted to kind of just hear my own thoughts. Sat at the bar and ordered a water, and had some food. But no, it was crazy because a couple walked up to me and they said, "Hey, aren't you Dr. Jason?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I am." They said, "We watch your show, with you, Fred, Corey, Lamar, Reggie, and we tune in each and every week. And we must tell y'all that a lot of the stuff that y'all sharing are conversations we're having for the first time in our marriage." And I was like, man, it just made me think, Corey, like we want to get away sometimes. Like Jesus, it said he left the disciples to go and be by himself, right? Even when we are looking to be alone and have our own time, there's still people who are watching.
Better believe it, brother.
You know what I mean?
Better believe it. Better believe it, man. That same thing just happened to me on Sunday. I was sitting at an establishment in Dallas having some hydration, and Fred, man, what's wrong with Fred, man? One of the brothers walked up to me and we just started chopping it up, man, and I was able to encourage him. And I've always said, what's in you will always come out of you, and so regardless of where you are, who you with, what you're doing, what's in you will come out. And I think that the journey, one of the assignments in life is for God to completely draw out of us what he put in us, because it's not for us, it's for the world. So I'm ready to go, man. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Do it. All right, so Corey, go ahead, start off, man. How to Love a Man is the series that we're in. We'll walk through this for the next 4 to 5 weeks. But tonight, get to know him. Talk about you for a minute, and then I want you to provide a generalization for us as men, as you've heard through conversations in barbershops, the basketball court, the football field, the locker room, the dormitory, church parking lot, when everybody goes home. What does it mean to really get to know a man?
So, man, I'm going to be controversial, and some people may be offended by this statement that I'm about to make, because I did make it in real life. And I'm going to use this as a shock effect, but I promise you I'm going to bring you back to where you need to be. I was having a conversation with an unnamed person. I can't necessarily name who this person is because of legal proceedings. But we were in a legal setting, and there was a particular person that had a gavel in their hand that said, "Do you think this person is a good father?" And Fred, without hesitation, with seemingly no conviction, she said no. And my response to that was, well, how do you know what a good father is? Because yours wasn't there. See, in other words, you were holding me to a standard that you did not see exemplified or walked out. You're holding me to a standard that you created in your mind. So I'm not this person suggests that someone's not a good father, but yet you didn't grow up with the father, not suggesting that you didn't have a good uncle or a great coach or a great mentor, but having somebody in your home, you did not experience that. So you're comparing, you don't have a point of reference. And even if you do have a point of reference, your father may have fathered you in a certain way, but that's not the only way. And so you're doing one of two things. Either you are comparing me to something that you've never seen, that you only dreamed about, or you're holding me to a standard that is unfair because it is an unspoken expectation for me to emulate this man that you've created in your head. And I think the challenge is many of us, and I'm talking particularly to women, we come in with this expectation. We come in wanting this person to be this and not really taking the time to get to know the person that you're dating. I may not change oil like your dad did. I may not walk the dog like your dad did, but I want you to search for me and search and find out who I am and what I like and how I communicate and how I talk, because so much energy is spent on men searching women and looking for what makes them happy and looking for what makes them tick and looking for what makes them sexually aroused. But the question, my sister, is, do you do the same? Do you keep that same energy? Are you really wanting to know who this man? I see you, Fred. Are you really wanting to know who this man is? Why does he move the way he moves? What makes him afraid? If he is afraid, are you a safe enough place for him to express his fear without him feeling judged or talked about or looked down upon? See, because here's the reality. Most men won't talk about this, but yes, we are just as emotional as you are. We have just as many fears. We have just as many anxieties. We question a lot of things, but we're living in a culture that your image sometimes is presented over your true identity. Your image is over your true identity. And so most men feel like we've got to live up to this image that you want us to, but you don't really want to spend the time to get to know who I really am. And I think this is just a teaser. Y'all is gonna get really good because I got some points. I see Fred over there, but I want to challenge the women that are watching. Listen. There's a show that I watch with Will Smith in it. And man, the name of the show is gone, but he's like this space guy. It's help me out, Dr. Jason.
The one with his son.
I am Legend.
Not I Am Legend, man. It is.
It's the one he did with his son.
No, he did with the older white guy, man. They was
somebody in the chat. Texas. What name of the movie that Corey talking about?
They was fighting aliens and stuff, man. And anyway, in this particular movie, they were like federal agents for a secret society. Men in Black? Men in Black. That's what it was. In the movie.
What the hell are you drinking?
I don't know, man. But let me get back to my point, Fred. I'm closing right here. This is my final close. In Men in Black, one of the things that I like about that movie is that when people were exposed to something that they shouldn't have saw, Will Smith and Men in Black would tell them to look at this light, and it would cause them to erase or lose the memory of what they just experienced. And I want to challenge you, sisters, to take a light tonight and look into it. Because what it does, once you erase the negativity and erase the expectation, it gives you an opportunity to experience that man for who he really is and not what you want him to be.
Man, that's heavy, Corey.
Yeah.
That's heavy. Get to know him. I love how he said, Fred, that, hey, Pastor Jay, good to see you, champ. Great show last night, man. Can't wait to jump on next week with you. But I love how, Corey said that, getting to know the man means you don't compare him to the men you've seen. And Corey, that's so profound, brother, because I think that many women step into relationships and they bring into the relationship the typology, right? Or the identity or hear me out here, the framework of what they think the man is supposed to be. So then women end up creating standards of who you are based upon the framework they've seen or heard prior to meeting you. And so then you always run the risk of not being enough. You know what I mean? You run the risk of being in that room. You're talking about with the gavel and being asked, am I a good father? Because you're comparing me to a standard that you've never seen before, a standard you pulled out of a fairy tale book, a standard that you watched on Judge Judy or Jerry Springer, right? And I think it's so profound, Corey, that in order to really get to know the man is really setting aside whatever identity or framework you think a man is and really genuinely get to know him.
Yeah. Come on, Fred.
Bro, you just picked up the whole topic and just like a forklift and took it to the cliff and just boom, dropped it off.
That's what Corey did, man. He crushed it.
There's so much in what you said to dive into, to unravel. You hit so many real true points. One of the things, as you were saying all of the things that you were saying about meeting a woman and finding out that, or just being in a relationship where somebody based their impression of you or their perception or their ability to just perceive right and wrong of you was based on somebody who gave them a faulty sense of self and life and relationships and whatever else. But that's what the inner psyche of the person that you're dealing with. It just reminded me of just how difficult it is to have a successful relationship without getting off to a good start and knowing the person that you're dating. You said that, and that you are, potentially plan to have a serious and lasting relationship with. When you, I hate to use the word vet, but in the process of dating somebody and getting to know somebody, you need to know where they came from, what their life was like, what their aspirations are, what their ambitions are, what scares them, what causes them to want to, take flight or fight. You just need to know that person because it gives you an idea of that person's ability to see you in an objective light. You know what I mean? That there's someone who's had some maturity and some life experiences. But what you talked about during the beginning of what you said was about finding somebody who was mature. And that's hard because what you like at 18 may not be what you want to be married to at 30 or 35, man or woman, whatever. By the same token, what you like at 22, you may think yourself silly at 18. If you're lucky, you do. For some of us at 35 or 40, we're thinking like we're 18, or 22. We end up with somebody who's thinking like they're 22 or 25. And in the end, there's no maturity. There's no foundation to even really look outside of yourself and try to understand somebody. That's what we're talking about. That's what we need. I think it would be interesting if you took Miss Otley, your mom's, her comment from, I think, the last webcast that we did, because it was a list of about 400 that all added up to the perfect male specimen, right?
Yeah.
Well, we need to put that back up because that's what we're looking for, But there's work you have to put in to actually try to find one or two components of it. To expect all 400 of them is unrealistic. But what you're looking for when you try to find that person who's going to give you a fair chance is somebody who's going to take the time to try to find out, somebody who's going to take the time to try to know you.
Yeah, that's good, Fred. Hey, Lady Staples, good to see you.
What's up, Miss Staples?
We were just giving you a shout out like 5 minutes ago about your show, letting all the ladies know, man, make sure y'all tune in on Thursdays. I think it's 7 p.m. To Lady Staples' show. Is phenomenal. The three of us have all been on it, man, and just had a great time. So good to see you tonight. Good to see you tonight, Isha. I might even send you a link, have you jump on at the end, just to introduce yourself on our show. We've been on your show like 2-3 times. We at least got to bring her on. But Fred, man, I think you made some great points, brother, man. And when you really hit on just, getting to know the fears, that one really resonated with me when you said, get to know him by getting to know his fears. And somebody in the comments, I'm going to go pull it back. Who was it? Jasmine. Jasmine, you said, what is below the surface? We all have layers. And that is so true. Like getting to know us, getting to know me, getting to know him is recognizing that there's layers. What's up, Murph?
What's up, brother? What's up, brother?
Oh, my boy.
What's up, man?
What's up, fellas?
Hey, jump on in and get some of this. But no, what our comment was that, we all have layers, and in order to really get to know him, me, us, you've got to really dive deep beneath the surface. And I tell you, Corey, the vast majority of my life, brother, until I've probably reached mid to late 30s now, has been very surface level relationships. And not surface level relationships because I decided to live on the surface and get to know you on the surface, but surface level because I didn't allow you to penetrate me beyond just the top layer.
Yeah.
And sadly, and I know Murph knows where I'm going with this. Sadly, when you as a male can be such a great listener, you can pawn off listening for never having to divulge any real information about you. So I mastered how to listen so I didn't have to divulge information about me, right? But when you really get to know him, you dive deep beneath those layers and realize, hold on, there's some fears here. There's some hopes and some aspirations. There's some shortcomings. There's some missteps, and all that stuff. The reason we have a hard time sharing, Fred, is because we're afraid, I feel, of being judged. When we get on a call like this, when we take guys trips, go to the barbershop, the reason we can say whatever the hell we want to say is because we know we are around a company of men who will not judge us at the end of the day.
That's real, man.
And we don't give a damn. There's a certain level of maturity, It's the fortunate brother, man, who gets it early. You know what I mean? But we've had help. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of stuff that would aggravate us, a whole lot of stuff that would cause us anxiety because of pride and because of wanting to be right all the time. We let go. So I think it matters less what people think of us. So we divulge a whole lot more. And plus, our heart's in a different place.
Hey, so I want to real quick. I want to respond to that comment that Davis just put there. Thanks for putting that up, Jason. Before I respond to that comment, I want to say that, ladies, you got to understand that every Superman at some point takes his cape off and he turns into Clark Kent.
My goodness.
Every Superman turns into Clark Kent. So no how much strong he looks, how many buildings he saved, how many fires he put out, at some point, he's just human and he's fragile and he hurts and he's afraid and he's fearful and he's not as confident. And to Jason's point, sometimes, Jason, it is not that we are just conditioned to only communicate surface level. Sometimes it's the fact that we haven't met that woman that makes us feel comfortable enough to expose that area. All right.
That's good.
Going back to what David just says, if you don't know your own layers, it's very difficult to recognize what's even perfect for each individual. It's a daily life property. Sometimes with trauma, you got an issue and you don't even recognize what that issue is. Sometimes you can have an issue driving you and you don't even know what that issue is driving you until you get on a call like this, or you have a conversation with a young lady that's maybe experienced, that knows how to listen, and that sees beyond the surface, as you just said. And so I think that's important. So ladies, if you want to get to know a man, you got to learn to see beyond the surface. Real quick, me and my fiance, we're planning this wedding. And I am like a provider, dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm a provider, but I also got a lot on my plate, bro. I'm going through a custody battle. I got a trucking business. I got a tax business. I'm planning a wedding. I'm trying to plan the move. And I remember one time we got to a conversation, and I won't say too much, but you know, she felt like I was being a little bit rude. And I think I was disappointed because there was an expectation for me, for her, to not look at the symptom, but maybe have the skill set to look at the root. Right? The symptom was I had an attitude, but the root really, Jason, was I'm just stressed the hell out. And you're not stressing me out, and I'm not upset with you. You're really my peace. And so, ladies, sometimes you got to understand, going back to how a man was raised. For me, I carry the burden. We could be, Fred, with $3 in our account, and I'm gonna walk around here and act like it's 300,000. I ain't gonna tell you nothing. And that may not always be the best way to be, right? But I want to try to protect you from unnecessary pressure, unnecessary frustration, unnecessary anxiety. And if I'm going to do that, what helps me is if you see me acting out of character, don't think I'm just being a butthole, but it's got to be something a little bit deeper. That's called getting to know your man.
Yeah, a lot deeper. Murph, jump in, man. We have just really been kind of touching the surface of what it means to get to know him, what it means to get to know you as a man. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I love how these gentlemen just kind of talked about there's layers to us, and we recognize there's layers to women. We've been on tons of shows, and we recognize that. And I think one of the things that Corey just kind of he really kind of enumerated is just the reality that there's layers to men as well.
Yes.
We can be literal, but at the same time, we can be evasive.
Yes. I'm sorry, I was trying to get my stuff situated here. I was having a little technical difficulty. I'm walking in on this, and first of all, what's up, fellas? Hey. I just came from wrestling practice, so I was like, but I think that one of the things that is interesting is I did not know my layers until I allowed myself to explore my own layers. And Corey, I think you said something. You said when I meet a woman who, I think you said something like allows you to, or shows you the layers. I think it may have been when you said, or permission. It was something like that. And I think that one of the challenges is if we are not willing to be vulnerable to find out who we are, it's going to be very difficult for a woman to help me find it because of some of the challenges we're going to deal with on that layer and how we've been conditioned, right? So I'm trying to be the strong man. But here's the challenge. If you have never seen that, what if you've never seen that? Mm-hmm. So your expectation of what a strong man is this guy who only provides, he has the answer, this and that, he's never vulnerable, but that'll kill you. That'll kill you early. The reality of it for me is the strength that I have been able to find, honestly, is by me being willing to be vulnerable and know that I can take it. To say, you know what, I don't know. I don't know. And if you come at me crazy because I don't know, then I know you're probably not the right one. Mm. But if you're willing to help me to solve the problem as I help you solve problems, then we're good. I think what happens a lot of times with the layer thing is we end up getting in competition about what it should be instead of working together to resolve and evolve.
That's wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like how many times have you seen people, they trying to win? I'm going to win this argument. I'm going to win this statement. Why? For what? That's because you don't know that you already won. If you got somebody to talk to about it, you already winning. You already winning.
Hey, but Eric, let me ask you a question, Eric, because I know somebody, I know for a fact there's some young men that watch this. Yeah. Because what you just said, Eric, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's about it's a generational thing. I think,
Corey. Lamar, come get some of this.
I think the older you get, the more free and liberal you become being vulnerable.
Yes, sir.
But if you've never seen vulnerability as a man, because as you were talking, I was thinking about the 25-year-old Corey, and I was six-pack, ripped up, hardcore, gang banging, drug dealing. I didn't know what vulnerability looked like, and the truth is, it took a woman to help me feel safe enough to walk me through that. Wow. Because I had never seen vulnerability. I grew up old school. Men don't cry. Men don't do this. Men don't do that. And I understand that that wasn't necessarily the most healthy way to be raised. But I guess my question for you would be for the person, because I agree with you. I think that you discovering yourself should never be left to the responsibility of someone else.
Yes.
So I agree with you. My question for you is for the younger person, hell, even the older person that have yet to discover themselves because they've never seen it modeled. And discovery takes vulnerability sometimes. What would be the steps? What would you say to them as it relates to breaking past that macho mantra of I am lion, hear me roar, you know, I'm cool. Because on the inside, we all know as men that when we say we cool, a lot of times we really ain't.
We ain't cool.
Yeah. You know, Corey, I think that one of the ways we do that is, first of all, by exploring expectations of the relationship. If I can, because I think a lot of times either it's unsaid, unclear, or it's too low. Like I expect something that's so whack that it's just whack. And we do that for ourselves. So if I don't set a clear expectation about my willingness to be vulnerable with you from the very beginning, not because I'm a punk, but because I'm a man who is wanting to share with you and grow with you, or at least explore being with you. If you off the rip, I'm gonna know if you start talking to me about how much money it is, or something contrary to what we're talking about, then I know that you're not the value system that supports my value system. So really that vulnerability is about standing for something, honestly. Yeah. And standing for something that you're willing to be flexible about. Because I'm not talking about my core values. Like I ain't trying to deal with crack. I ain't trying to, there's some things I ain't trying to deal with. But when we start talking about if I'm vulnerable, don't blow me up and say that's bullshit. Or don't make me feel like I'm whack because I'm saying today was a rough day and I just want to sit for a moment. You know what I'm saying? Like I want you to be able to walk with me and walk next to me or walk in front of me when that's needed.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how that's heavy. That's how I explore it. That's how I explore it. Like because here's the challenge. My wife is yelling at me because I got the door open. But the challenge is, I keep saying that. The thing that I think is very interesting is it is a journey of exploration.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and a willingness to say, like I used to bench 505 pounds, right? But what's crazy is, Corey, I'm not even joking. Like 4'6", 505 on the bench. I squatted 6 one time. I had so many dudes think I was homosexual. It was crazy. And I used to be like, why you think that? They're like, you soft with it. I'm like, I will fold you up, bro. They're like, but you're soft though. I'm like, you think I'm soft because I'm willing to be vulnerable. Because when you can bench 500 some pounds and squat 6 and be a wrestler, I will fold you up. And because I know this confidence, I have no desire to give you nothing but love.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
That's good. No desire. Because I already know what I can bring to the table.
Eric, man, say that again. You said because you have this confidence, you have no desire to harm.
I have no desire to cause you harm. I have no desire. I only desire to give you love. That's it. Because I love me. And I'm exploring what that is about me that I love because I don't really know.
Fred, are you listening to this? Because you like to duct tape people, man.
It's kind of like people saying you got to chase your passion. You got to be passionate. But I don't think a lot of people know what their passion is. I think you walk with stuff that you think is dope and that you can be passionate about, and you develop a passion as you walk with fear and find courage. And the same thing is in relationships. I will walk with fear. Like I used to think my wife would say something to me, like kind of controlling. Like the other day, I'm not gonna front on you. I'm gonna keep it one with y'all. The other day I was taking my shirt off and I caught my wife look at my tummy like, I was like, oh shit. I wanted to go, oh, you looking at me like I'm chubby? Like I'm like what? And then here's the crazy thing. I am chubby. You know what I'm saying? How am I gonna get mad at her for loving me and looking at me like, baby, you gotta do something about that. That's the wrong.
That's humility, man.
Yeah, that's right, bro.
That's humility, bro.
That's right.
Yeah. Where you been all this time? We've been talking about that. You preaching to the choir. I mean, it's the truth. Honestly, God, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about humility and introspection and the ability to bring that light of introspection around and look at yourself. But look at yourself not trying to be right. You know what I mean? Look at yourself without making excuses. To look at yourself glaringly painfully. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Admittedly, accusedly. You know what I'm saying? Convictedly.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
when you look at yourself and you found out and you're honest and the truth, the right truth is harsh and painful. You know, you can't you can't turn your back on it because you can't improve something that you don't examine. If you care about yourself, and hopefully you do, if you are submitting yourself to somebody, you know,
Yes.
you have
Yeah.
to want to be better. You know, you have to try to be better. There's a God created a work in me, and I pray and I know that He'll finish it. But I have to do my part to work on me. But
Your part.
like I said, you can't rationalize your flaws. You can't rationalize your inadequacies. You can't rationalize the way that you need something and might need help. The delightful chore of it all is trying to find that mature person who has some semblance of understanding of the same, you know, and can say, I need help. I'm looking for somebody to help me get where I want to be, and I want to be the other half, the better part, if I can, of somebody. I want to complete somebody, right? And in that process, you have to want to be better in order to do the best job you can. If you care about that person, if you really truly care about that person enough to work as hard as it takes to combat and defeat all of these obstacles that we just talked about.
Yes.
From the moment Corey started talking, he opened up a whole Pandora's box. Give up on relationships. Like I said, you took the whole thing and just like dumped it in the hot water because there was not a gradual entry into what we're talking about now. You just blah 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 and just bam, and it was all right there. And that's what you continue to talk about, and that's what we're talking about now. Is a psychological conundrum that each individual brings. You talk about baggage. You talk about, you know, by the time you're 45, 50, whatever, you're still looking for somebody. Everybody's got financial baggage, you know, children, former relationships, whatever, work, blah, 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 stalkers, you know. But none of that matters. It pales in comparison to what's between your ears and what you've been through and the wrong teachings, the wrong mindedness, lack of faith, the lack of maturity, the lack of ambition, the suspicion. There's just so many reasons. The pride that is always there, that blinds you, that fogs your goggles with reason and ration, you know, and ration. You can't look at yourself because you're looking at yourself with your own eyes, and they're prideful, right? They won't allow you to really see you in the glaring harshness of reality, right? So you put it off, you make excuses, you blame your wife, you blame your boyfriend, you blame your girlfriend, whatever, because you don't want to admit who you really are. Every time you scratch a lip, hopefully it heals well, right? Layers can be scratched, layers can be peeled off, they can be moistened down like a Band-Aid, you know what I'm saying? They can be peeled off, they can be removed by a specialist, or they can be removed or exposed by somebody who does it in the midst of an argument, right? Next thing you know, what you got is not a decision that removes some psychological cancer or something that you had and left a nice healable incision, but you got a gaping wound and a scar that's going to heal poorly and won't help you get over that problem at all.
That's right, bro. Yeah. Fred,
so
the way you
to find somebody, the whole process, right? I'm sorry, Eric, but that's what we're all talking about.
Yes, sir. Fred,
yes,
you know
sir.
what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when you talking to a side chick about your problems you having with your woman, and the side chick is siding with you, and you forgot that you're talking to somebody who's biased, who's already broken the rules because she's a side chick. So you're talking to the biased person, perpetuating the false image that you think you are. You think that you dope. You ain't. because you're talking to the side chick. So if it's a side chick, you already are saying that I'm flawed with it because this person is not supposed to be in the mix. But I'm talking to them about my stuff. I have an emotional adulterous relationship, feeding my ego. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the funny thing, Eric, is I wasn't gonna say it like that, but wow. Welcome back, E.
Hey, it's good to have you back, Murph.
I don't have no Hennessy. Last time I had some Hennessy.
Here we go again. You got enough.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, Aisha, where's Lamar, man? Tell Pastor Walter Lamar Staples to hop on. Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, so what I was gonna say is, Eric, earlier I was talking about Jason was talking about how someone was at a bar while he was drinking water and told him about the show. And I expressed it on Sunday. I went to a restaurant and I ended up talking to a young man. Well, just to give a little bit more layer to the conversation, he works at like one of the hot spots in Dallas and he's married. And he was just like, man, these women is cold-blooded because there was some nice looking sisters in there. And I looked at him because I'm 43 and he's 30. And I said, man, and I know some sister may get offended when I say this, but just hear me out before you kill me. I said, bro, they all the same. I said, they all the same, bro. I said, they all got issues. But I went on to say, they all got issues and we do too. And I said, young man, let me tell you something. The problem that the mistake that many of us make is we've all heard of this 80-20 rule, right? And so we'll leave the 80 for the 20. And the deception in this is that this woman that you're leaving that has 80 for the 20, this woman may have 100% of the 20 that you feel like you lacking in your relationship. But better believe, once you get with her, there's a 20% that she's lacking as well. And so what you got to do, and just to be fair, it's a 20% you lacking too, bro.
Hell yeah.
You may be lacking 30%. And so what we've got to do, man, is learn this cuss word called discipline and commitment. And we've got to learn, I know I had to learn this, that things don't have to be perfect to be good.
That's right.
Wow, that's good.
Sometimes I used to think things had to be perfect to be good.
No.
But it can be good without being perfect.
That's right.
Because if it's perfect, then what do you have to work towards? And life is a journey. And so I think that God gives us things in part. He doesn't give us the perfect view of things, but he leaves a space for us to work, because one of the first assignments that God gave man was to work in the garden. And so we've got to work to get to know our woman, and women, you got to work to get to know your man, because now Eric just convicted us, all of us that ever thought about having a side chick. He just told us we was losers. But let me just be honest. The reality is, if you do not give your man a soft, safe place, he will find one. He will find, and listen, and he will find one at the chance of being labeled a loser. But while he's losing, he feel like he winning because he's doing something that you won't give him. And so it all goes back to, I am big on, listen, get to know that man and give that man a fair shot, and give that man an opportunity to grow into the man that you desire. Patience,
Corey, you're killing it. You're killing it, Corey.
Yeah, Corey, you're killing this so hard, Corey, man. My aunt from Palm Springs, California, man. Hey, Aunt Diane, good to see you. She says, speak it, Corey. Come on. If my aunt, man, from way out in Cali, is saying, Corey, you speak it. You know what I'm saying? If my aunt is in her 70s, Aunt Diane, Corey, you on it tonight, brother. I mean, all of us is on it. I really, truly believe that, you know, in order for women to really get to know us as men, Corey, you alluded to it earlier when we first got on the show, is to stop comparing us to the list you created. And I think that the fallacy has been that, you know, social media and the living up to the Joneses, you continue to add more things and elements and components and standards to this list each and every season of your life. And then it is you're running around looking for this perfect man that largely doesn't exist. But here's the caveat to the list that you have, because you failed to get to know him, is you're bringing in a list for a man that God never designed. So the one that you're meeting for the first time is not the one that's on the list. And Corey mentioned earlier, he may subscribe to some of those things in time and in evolution, and as he evolves, but he may not be that person on day one. So many sisters, man, are not giving brothers a good enough chance because on day one he doesn't line up to all those things, right?
Yes.
And so I feel like, ladies, man, y'all just have to, really look at your list and look at the ways that you get to know men and ask yourself, am I comparing this man to what society says that a man should be? Or am I comparing this man to everything that my heart says that I truly desire? And I think, ladies, if you step away from your girlfriends for a second, remove yourself from them circles. Some of y'all in deep pocket circles, 14, 15, 20 y'all be hanging out, going to Saks Fifth and Neiman Marcus, and y'all be going on girl trips, and y'all have all of these conversations about what a man should be. However, very few of you, I feel, are spending just as much time talking to the men about themselves as you do talking to your girlfriends about the man, right? So I feel like you got to change the game, man. Flip the script. Spend more time with him than you do with the girlfriends.
Yeah. Hey, bro, you said something that's really, it hit me and now it just left me. But I think that the most interesting thing is, this exploration of self and this whole. Again, it's an organic thing. Like, it's not even, it's something that to be explored. So I don't even know. And you said, oh, I know what you said. You said, don't compare that dude to who your girls think it should be, or that 100 dude that you think you should have. I think a lot of times that's not only the comparison, it's also the comparison of the man that wasn't in your life, or the man that you're mad at that might be your dad. It might be the person you've been taught to be mad about. There's a lot of times there's generational stuff there that we don't even want to look at. That I'm mad at my father, and I chose a man who I could fix. And I know that this dude played mad more than he paid his bills. You feel me? But his performative behavior is wonderful. He'll put it on me, and I enjoy it. But all you're doing is dealing with somebody who's performing with you, and really it doesn't have depth to it. Does it have depth to it, or is it just something that you get the bus one and you go, that's what's up?
Ooh.
Damn, he's talking about performative and depth to it.
Hey, listen, Fred.
NC-17.
Jesus.
NC-17.
Hey, Fred, I was sitting there going, Fred, I'm sitting there going, I gotta get my vocabulary up. These brothers is killing it tonight. Jesus Christ.
Hey, man, when Jason called me at wrestling practice and said, come through, I said, I was looking forward to this, man. I enjoy these conversations. I work, and you said something. I work with some beautiful women at my office. Like, I work with some absolutely stunning women. And the greatest thing is they all trust me. And I know why they trust me, because I love myself. And I would never, and my job is to explore our relationship as colleagues. And I have beautiful women I work with, absolutely. And they know that I am trustworthy only because I trust myself. Because I've explored that piece of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, would I be willing to do this? And no. Why? But then would it be enjoyable? Not something I even think about. Because it's not a thought.
Once a week, guys, I've got to create some type of controversy. Things have been too kumbaya-ish tonight for me. So let me just take a sip of my cup and go right at it.
Hey, Corey, you need a refill. Where's your fiance, man? Last week she had you on the refill, bro.
She's not in town, man. And so, thanks for the drum roll, Fred, but here we go. Listen, also women, let me just say this, and getting to know your man and coming to the table with these particular standards, expectations, desires, I need you to do me one favor. Before you find it in yourself to verbally articulate and express what it is you desire in a man, make sure you got at least 50% of what you desire. Because some of you all have been groomed to desire something, but haven't been groomed to produce anything.
Ooh.
So you want something that you don't even have the capability of giving yourself.
Hey, say that again, Corey.
You want something that you don't even have the capability of giving yourself.
That's funny.
And so here's the deal. What I'm saying is, we talking about getting to know a man.
Yes.
Get to know him.
Yes.
Because you may be looking at him because he's different than your father. But your daddy didn't have a college education. Your daddy worked 9 to 5, so your daddy could come home every night and do XYZ, while he may be an entrepreneur and have other businesses, and he may not operate the same way your dad did, or he doesn't operate the same way the ghost that you created of perfection. And instead of you getting to know him, you're comparing him while you overweight yourself. And I'm not just talking about physically. I'm talking about you may be emotionally overweight, financially overweight because you can't budget, spiritually overweight because you don't even know what John 3:16 says. So you want your man to be all of this. My question is, when coming with this expectation and these standards, do you even meet the damn standards that you putting out yourself?
That's good.
And
No.
sometimes, most of the times, the answer is hell no.
Right.
Hey, so look, and I know Fred got some insight to this, man. I'm just wondering, like, that sense of entitlement, and we know that we as men can be entitled as well, right? But we're talking about tonight getting to know your man. Why is there a sense of entitlement, Corey, that you can just give a little but expect so much in return?
It's because the way they was raised, bro. It was the way they was raised, bro. I mean, think about it. Think about it, man. Come on, Jason. You know, man, like we're not raised up thinking about marriage, and we're not raised up playing with Barbie and Ken. And it's this cultural social norm. And listen, it is even, if I could just keep it a buck, bro, it's even exponential in the church. The man is the head. He's supposed to do this. He's supposed to be the provider. And so you got social norms, then you have religious expectations, and then you got some of them just gold diggers and thoughts. And so, you know, they just want what they want. And they expect for you to do all of this, and they can't even produce themselves. I'm sorry, Fred. That was I supposed to not call him a thought.
I'm a little aggravated, man. Not at you, brothers. You good brothers. I appreciate y'all being here and, you know, letting me be on the show. But the thing that aggravates me is I think that we brothers help perpetuate that problem. You know what I mean? With chicks acting like that. You know what I mean? It's what they have to deal with. Sometimes I don't think we always acquit ourselves as we should, you know, when dealing with women. And because I've seen it start, you know, like in college, and the way dudes just chase behind women and willing to do anything, that like the lack of self-control and lack of maturity allow you be treated the way you allow people to treat you, right? Thanks. Okay. So you learn, I think, when you learn how with, and as you stop, you gain more maturity and stop, you know, them around behind women like you've lost your mind, and get a more intellectual level and demand more intellectually from them, then you get a different response. I remember talking to women in Mississippi, and they would say, "You talk funny. You from the island, you know?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just speaking grammatically properly, you know, correct. You know, it's not, and not that I do all the time, but I'm just trying to be respectful and ain't going, you know." But then the point is just carrying yourself and maintaining your business in a way that people have to come correct. Otherwise, they know you ain't going to give them the time of day. So they like, he ain't going to be wanting to talk to me. Let me just move.
Yes. Fred, you know, I used to say this all the time, and this is supposed to be PG-13, so I won't use profanity. I apologize for earlier.
We're way beyond.
Okay, good shit. I'm good then. Look, I say this all the time, and my wife will say this too. When I was a dog, when I thought I was a dog, I attracted the female version. When I realized that I was a man, and I could ask for more, I attracted my wife, who is Dr. Murphy. You feel me? And that's just what it is. Because when I chose, like when I lived by myself and I was still engaged to my wife, I would go out. This wedding ring was like kryptonite to women. Like it was crazy. The funniest thing was when I was just cool and I would buy a drink and sit there and have a conversation and not want nothing, totally not give off no kind of vibe, I was the most attractive man in the room. And it was only because I came off as stable and secure. And that only came from me realizing that I no longer want to be out there and be a dog. And I was in my early 30s. I mean, I was young enough to still go out and do what I wanted to do, but it wasn't necessary. Why would I need to do that extra to prove that I'm somebody that I already know that I am? That's like beating up a 100-pound person. Why would I need to beat up the little dude when I already know I'll smash you weigh as much as my leg? You feel me? So why do I need to smash when I'm not looking for a smash? I'm looking for a partner.
Wow.
Well, in my 30s, I was still looking for a smash.
Yeah,
but I had smashed it. I mean, honestly, I had explored the fact that first of all, I found a woman.
Got you.
I came to your front. Like I found a woman. I was like smashing. I've been there, done that. But what I have not done is explored who I am. I've not explored the joy of discipline. Not treating it like a 4-letter word, but treating it like this is dope.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, man, it's more fulfilling. This stage that we're in is more fulfilling than the spontaneous smash.
absolutely.
You know, and I wish that someone would have told me that I pulled my coattail in my 30s. I'm grateful because I have a beautiful fiance who I love with all my heart. And even though I'm at this stage of wisdom,
yes,
we still have challenges.
Totally.
There's still communication gaps there and things like that. And so you know, kind of going back to the initial point, I just think it's important. Ladies, I hope that you guys are paying attention to something. And Jason, I want to bring this up. This is a show about us telling women what men want, but it always turns into men taking accountability for their actions.
There you go.
So if you don't have a man that will take accountability, then he's not a man.
Corey,
and I think that man is not worth getting to know, because you'll never really know who that man is because he don't know how to take accountability for his own actions.
He
wearing the little kid costume. He wearing the little boy costume.
Yeah.
I used to ask my clients, they hated it. They'd be like, I had a client or two that had a bipolar disorder, and during manic episodes, they would choose lesser men, right? Like dudes who were just childish. I won't say lesser, just childish men. And I would always say, are you a pedophile? They'd be like, what? I said, are you a pedophile? They're like, no. I'm like, then what do you get out of messing with children? Help me understand. Because what you asking this man to do, you already knew he couldn't do when you met him at the bar.
Wow.
So what are you getting out of this? And they would get out of their manic episode and go, penis and donuts. I'm like, wow. if that's what you, well, it's dick and donuts, but I didn't want to say that.
Okay.
Corey,
No.
don't
I was confused for a minute, Eric. I was like, what is that a franchise?
But it really comes back to it really comes back to setting an expectation and verbalizing that expectation into existence. And the other part to it is a lot of times women don't want to be your friend and have developed trust and be your partner. They don't know that those three components, friendship, trust and commitment, and intimacy, they have to align. And those things are very important. And a lot of times we go for the surfacey celebrity because that's what's sexy right now, instead of doing what's simple and stable. I've had many a client who was like the bad boy and ended up marrying a lame who they thought was a lame, but really that person was stable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's real, man. Hey, look, we're gonna wrap up here in a few. I want to keep it like right before 9 East Coast time. Corey, I know it's only going on 8 o'clock your time, but I do want to put this out there for next week because you guys are probably wondering like where does the succession? How is this going to really play out? Tonight we talked about getting to know him
and getting to know your man or getting to know the man that will be brought into your life, how important that is, and not to compare him to a standard that you created prior to meeting him. And that's such a fallacy that men enter into relationships with women and they have already been prejudged and preconceived and predetermined, right? Before they've even said, hello, how are you?
Right.
So we, women, y'all just got to pull back a little bit and just really get a chance to know him. And in saying pull back, next week in this same series, How to Love a Man, part 2 is give him space. And I don't want you all to feel like give him space means give him a pass. I think y'all have confused give him space to give him a pass to be able to do whatever he wants to do. That's not what we're talking about. Next week, we're going to talk about how important it is for a man to have the space in order to refuel so that he can begin to pour back into the places that you've been waiting for him to pour into. A lot of us, Corey mentioned he got 2-3 jobs. I got 2-3 jobs, man. Fred is always on call. He'd be at work, hopping on these calls. And Eric, man, you got, 2 teenagers at home. You got a Dr. Murphy at home with you, man. She holding it down. And you're always on the go. Every time I call you, Eric, you're on the go. You're in some new city. You're presenting, with some new clients. And I'm saying all that to say, ladies, is you have to give him space to refuel. And tonight we talked about get to know him, but you got to know when you know him, you know how he needs to refuel.
That's huge.
They work hand in hand. You can't give him space and not know what he needs, because then you'll start to think he must be out there playing and running game. But when you know your man, oh, you know what? Oh, it's Thursday night. Oh yeah. He's had a really rough week. In about an hour, he's going to come in, change his clothes, and he's going to ask me, is it okay if I can go hang out with the fellas tonight? Baby girl, beat him to the punch. Beat him to the punch. Before he even walks through the door, you can already have the bath water, ran, his clothes, iron laid out if that's what you want to do, and be like, look, have a good time with the boys till I see when you get back, right? Giving him his space provides more opportunity for him to say, hold on, babe, I want to spend some time with you tonight.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, bro.
It's not the opposite. Y'all think that giving us space means that we want to just go be free. No, giving us space allows us to refuel so that we can actually spend more time with you.
Right. Hanging out with my fellas on a Thursday night is really going to the barbershop. You feel me? I just want to go and recharge my battery for a second so I can come back and give you all of me. And I'm not saying that in a physical manner. I'm saying from a holistic manner where I can be here with you as a partner. Because if I don't fill myself up, I'm going to try to fill myself up with you and create codependence. I need to have interdependence. I need to be able to lean on you and know when my wife goes out with her girls, I say the same thing every time. Have fun, be safe. Call me if you need me. Mm-hmm. That's all I got. Because I want her to know I trust you because I trust me. That's all I got.
That's good, man.
Hey, it's simple, bro. It's simple, Corey.
It's good.
Yeah. Give him space. Hey, let's close out. Hey, Fred, man, close us out, man. Close us out with some words of wisdom. Bring back tonight's conversation. Lead us into next week. Give our listeners something to really think about, some homework to do while we're away for the next couple of days. Bro, I have been supercharged by tonight's conversation. We have had folks from all different, social media platforms sending comments. It's going crazy. Instagram's going crazy. Facebook going crazy. YouTube going crazy. So we love y'all. We just appreciate y'all continue to chime in each and every week from his lips to her ears. Men just talking about, love, relationships, marriage, sex, keeping it real. So Fred, go ahead and close us out tonight, bro.
Absolutely. First of all, always it's a pleasure to be here with the brothers, and it's a special pleasure tonight to meet Eric. I hope to see you frequently on Tuesdays at 7:30. Join us next Tuesday, 7:30. We'll be continuing this exploration of how to get to know your man and how important it is. We've learned in past explorations of the differences that men and women have in their ability to communicate to each other, the fact that we communicate so differently, we speak a different language and talent. I suspect that as we explore how you are to get to know your man, you'll find that those differences in the way you perceive the things that we say and do are going to impact your ability to understand us. What we intend to do is help you understand why we say what we say and what we mean when we say what we say, the things we do, and why we do them. As alluded to just recently, the need for space. Sometimes that's just our desire to give you the best of us. Sometimes we don't want to share the worst parts of our attitude as soon as we get home. We don't want to share the worst parts of the way we feel right now. And we may need a moment of solitude, a moment of quietude, a moment of venting with male friends that we don't have to necessarily explain ourselves so explicitly to while we're trying to convey the meanness of our day. But we hope to see you again Tuesday, 7:30. It's our pleasure to inform you with our successes and our failures. Peace and hair grease, y'all.
Peace, y'all.
All right,
Fred,
brother.
where the duct tape at, bro?
Hey, thanks for the invite, Jay.
Hey man, hey, come on next week, bro. I mean,
got
yeah, 7:30, like Fred said, man. Oh, look at Fred, duct tape.
Got the clear tape tonight.
Are you trying to see it all?
Hey, you know what we didn't talk about, and maybe we'll open up next week with the whole get to know you, phase. We didn't get into, the physicality of like what that means, getting to know us, right?
I don't want to talk about sex all night.
Well, we could have. Here's Lamar. I gotta stay on a few more minutes. Here's Lamar. We didn't get into the physicality of what it means to get to know you, because Corey, as you alluded to earlier, when women come into a relationship and they have this standard of what a man is supposed to be, that means that they've created a standard of how he's supposed to perform.
You got it.
And if they created a standard of how he's supposed to perform, anytime he asks for anything in the bedroom that goes outside of the standard that she's created for him, then it's, hold up, I don't get down like that. I don't do that. This ain't that type of body, right? And
You better say something, my friend. You better talk, my friend.
You know what, Lamar, this is the only thing that Corey didn't mention in his open, and they left this for you. I have nothing to do with this. Get away.
I need somebody to give me a real quick synopsis of what just happened, because I missed a whole lot. I was in the middle of a staff meeting and it was crazy, absolutely wonderful. But and I'm trying to figure out where we at right now. I need y'all to help me out real quick before I put my mouth to anything, because I'm gonna say stuff. And hopefully y'all ready to hear what I got to say, because it's probably gonna be crazy.
Well, you can say whatever it is you want, Pastor Staples, because we just closed out and we're so grateful that you're here. And so Fred closed us out. We already had the benediction. The offering plate been passed, But you know how it is in a high praise service. You already know when Kenny hits that chord, you already know we about to go into round two. So, I know we can't stay on all night. Some of y'all have already logged off, but I see some of y'all logging back in. So Lamar, go ahead and say.
Well, first I'm just say I apologize for being late and kind of trying to get in and out. Wi-Fi was acting all crazy. But if I can just take Corey's cup already empty, I don't know what the heck did happen tonight. But I'm gonna just drop this out there, because I've been kind of paying attention a little bit from his lips to her ears. And I remember, so many years ago, one of the things that the first conference that Jason and the got with God, Jason got with God, and the Lord gave him this vision. And it was absolutely wonderful. Often the thing that happens inside of relationships, marriages, and all of that, men get lost. We get lost in it. And some of us is because of role. Some of us because of responsibility. Some of us because of having children, babies, all of that. Men oftentimes get lost. And if there's any woman out there, and if there's any man out there that really needs to hear this, I want to hear from you. I need for you to text and say something, make some comments, ask some questions. But often when the fellas get lost, we get lost in the area of trying to, one, compete with past to handle things appropriately, especially if we're living a Christian life. So therefore, we try to handle things appropriately, make sure things handled the way biblical standards, and keep up to a certain level of biblical standards. And then if we mess around and just have a real good saved wife, because often we have people who portray the role of being saved but ain't really saved. We have people that say that they love Jesus but don't really love Jesus. So I mean, never lived the life that loved Jesus. So you give one perspective outside of the house, but another different perspective, once you get in the house. So I'm just kind of in that vein right there, and I've been kind of flowing with that for a little while. But men get lost, and when men get lost, men get neglected. And once a man starts to be neglected in areas that's needed, financially, support, love, sexually, when a man gets lost, men are natural hunters. I said that before, one of the previous shows. Men are natural hunters. Once you get lost, he will begin to seek after. Once a man gets lost, he will begin to. Once a man gets neglected, because this is the show, get to know him. So if you're getting to know who he is, you need to not only know what he can provide, but what you can do to sustain who he is.
Nice.
Sustain and help who he is. Because if you're there, most folks don't understand the whole concept of help me.
You said sustain who he is, though. That is dope, bro.
Who he is. Yeah, you have to be able to sustain who he is. You met him one way. It's not your job to change him.
Right.
It's not your job to change who he is. And also, that's one of the biggest problems, is that too many women try to change who they get connected. If you try to change him, you're going to change him what you want. And often what you want is another girlfriend. You don't want a man.
Oh, man.
He said it.
Oh,
He said it.
Oh,
He said it.
man.
Man. You want somebody you can be connected. You want somebody who's gonna pick out your clothes and do your hair and rub your feet every night. That's the stuff you want, to do your nails and toenails and all of that. Man, you want another girlfriend. You don't really want a man.
Hey, Lamar came in here swinging, man.
Woo! He came here swinging the big bat.
I mean, I'm late, so I gotta swing for the hills, man. I'm the home run champion. I got to do.
Bro, you came in here swinging, bro.
You knocked that out.
Hey, Corey,
really
that's it's time for a refill, bro. I tell you, man, every week, man, they be on you about these refills, Corey. Hey, but Jasmine, when somebody Staples comes to something like that, all our cups go empty. I mean, but you're so right, Lamar. I think so. I think you're right. Many women do want a man to provide the same level of comfort that a girlfriend does. Right.
Got it. Right.
And so providing that same level of comfort, you oftentimes lose the identity. And as Fred just kind of put up in the air, you lose the identity and you lose his masculinity because he's trying to conform and fit into every desire that you have.
Right.
Hey man, Jason, I say to hell with that. Right? Listen, man, Listen, I've been in relationships in my past where I've asked that very question, Lamar. I said, man, are you sure you want a man? Because here's the reality, man. I can't be soft all the time. No. I'm not going to paint my nails and put on Victoria's Secret, just to make you feel comfortable. I'm a man. And though we have to learn how to balance that masculinity and balance that aggression, as we talked about before, it's an issue if every time I'm aggressive, you act like I need to go in for treatment. I'm a man, so I'm gonna be aggressive sometimes. I'm a man, so that means sometimes I'm not gonna handle the emotional things the way you handle them. But I think what a man is just looking for a woman that allows him to be him.
Yes.
But the challenge in that, Corey, is that can they handle those seasons when you are being you? Do they have the capacity to handle the weight of what you carry?
Yo, and see, that's where trauma comes into play, right? Because maybe I'm having that that macho. I mean, I don't want to say macho because that's not what it is. Maybe my testosterone level is on tilt a little bit, and I'm having one of those days, or whatever. And because of trauma that you've experienced, you have a PTSD-ish kind of reaction to it. And really, what I really needed is what's going to happen next week. Really, what I needed was space.
That's it.
That's it.
I needed a moment to just take this off because I'm dealing with Black Lives Matter. I'm dealing with this. I'm a large brown brother. I got this and that. I got people looking at me crazy, and I'm dealing with things that I don't even know how to articulate.
Yeah,
right.
I just need a moment.
Let's not. One thing I want to make sure we don't do is start go down the road of apologizing for being or handling things or responding to things the way we do.
That's
all right. I'm gonna help ladies understand some of that, but I'm not here to pretend like in any way, shape, form, or fashion that it's wrong. You know what I mean? I hope that any woman would be attracted to me because I'm a man.
Word.
If you're not because I'm a man, then you're not the woman for me.
You ain't the one.
Yeah, that's real talk, Fred. Hey, we're gonna close out, y'all. We do appreciate some of y'all jumping back on the call and listening. You know, Lamar just came in and he just swung for the fences. I'm talking about a grand slam.
Jeez, Lamar.
we just go end it with that. But next week, Lamar, we already put out there the part 2 of the How to Love a Man series is Give Him Space.
Oh, give him space. Whoa, that might. I missed that. That might be a little rough. Give him space.
Whoa! After your entry into the program,
give him space in the middle of a pandemic. Give him space when we all locked up together. Give him space when we can't do nothing but still in these same 4 walls, this apartment, this house. We can't go to you working downstairs. I'm working upstairs, but when I'm working upstairs, you want me to be working beside you while I'm working? And I don't give him space. Woo, this is gonna be so good. I don't even know what to say. I kind of having a whole moment right now. Give me space. I need a whole man cave outside my house. I need to go build a whole nother place. You know, there are some times I want to study. There's some times I want to do the things that I need to do to get in contact with God so I can feed the people of God. But then, you know, and I'm going to say this, and I know she's watching and I know she's listening. She just made a comment on the thing. So I'm going to say it anyway, because, you know, I stay in trouble. There are some times when I just want to be by myself.
By myself.
Yeah.
I cannot hear properly from God if you constantly calling me, if you constantly in my face, if you're constantly from God. What I end up doing is I stand up and I preach you instead of preaching what God gave me.
Ooh.
Preach you and
swing it.
Hey,
I don't know how you gonna deal with that, Jay. This would be so wonderful.
Hey,
you got the PJs with you?
Hey, Lamar, if you need a place to stay,
don't worry, I'm sleeping in the car.
You got a PJs?
If you need a place to stay, just holler at me, bro.
I'm already putting it together. You know, I just said it, and I'm gonna keep. You know, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be real. Y'all want me to be on this show?
What?
Keep coming on the show, and I'm gonna do exactly what I'm supposed to do. Amen. Everybody can't handle what I say.
We got the whole makeup thing going with the duct tape.
Well, now I don't know. Fred different. I just know I'm gonna be in the car.
That's what it is next week, though, fellas. You know, get to know him tonight, but next week it's going to be Give Him Space. And as I shared earlier, ladies, it's not give him space like give him a pass to go do what he wants. It's really how Lamar just really painted this picture. Is give him an opportunity to even hear himself think. And we are in a pandemic. You know, we're in a crisis. At the same time, for a man to be everything that God has called him to be, he needs a moment to refuel. And if he can't refuel at times by himself, how can he be great for you?
Listen, Jason. I don't know why you introduced this topic tonight, because now I don't even want to get off. I'm ready to keep talking.
Lord Jesus.
Hey, listen, Staples, what you just said is so key. Sometimes, man, we just want a moment by ourselves. Like, just it ain't got to be no extra. Sometimes I don't even want to be with the fellas. Sometimes I just want to be.
That's true.
In solitary confinement, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, so that I can recenter myself.
Yeah.
Because if you a type of man like me, I'm carrying a burden that I haven't even told you about.
Right.
And so I need to go strategize.
Right.
I need to go strategize by myself for a moment.
Yeah,
And it ain't got nothing to do with what environment I am. I'm just trying to just clear my head. Anyway,
you don't want to talk about it. I don't want sympathy. I don't want understanding. I just need to do some dealing. You know, I need to do some figuring. You know what I mean?
And Corey, that's the reason, Corey, why I like a car that's got some horses underneath.
Yeah.
No, it's because, to your point, I don't always need to break away to get with the fellas. Sometimes I just got to get on that highway
And
late,
just drive.
late at night, Lamar, and just drive, bro. I just got to hear them horses. I don't even have to turn the radio on. I'm not even on my phone texting while I'm driving. I'm just listening to them horses, man. You know, because it's an opportunity that I get a chance to, God is, putting things back into me that I've been giving out all week, right? So you're right. It ain't always let's break away and be with the fellas. Sometimes let's break away so I can have time by myself.
Hey man, sometimes Jason, I go play golf, man, solo dolo, just because it's me against the course, and I can just think.
Yeah. Well, listen, one of the things that I've noticed and I've paid attention to in counselings and sessions and things, and even in my own life, is that there are times when I just need my connection with God. That's what I need. I need my connection with God. I love you, but I need my connection with God.
Yes.
And as much as oftentimes in relationships and counselings I've been in, oftentimes women want you to have their God. They want you to be connected to their God.
I'm about to log off, man. He finna get in trouble.
With them. They want you connected to their God with them, but negate the fact that you have your own personal relationship that's needed if you really want me to be the head, if you really want me to be that person that you got connected to, if you really want me to be the man that you got connected to with, because you could have said no.
Because you could have said no.
If you want me to be the head, you got connected, because you said no. Because I asked you, you said no.
You chose this.
You chose this.
Yeah.
And all of it,
Man,
You chose this.
I'm leaving.
Let me have my relationship with my God the way that I need to have my relationship with my God, so I can get the directions for our family. Because if I'm supposed to be the head, I'm gonna be the head. And I'm gonna lead, and I'm supposed to grind, and I'm gonna pray the way I'm supposed to pray, and I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm gonna go from there. All right, I'll leave y'all alone. I'm done.
Hey, listen, man. I ain't married yet, so I need y'all to stop ruffling feathers. Y'all go get me in trouble. I got 3.5 weeks.
Hey, look, man, we out. Any of us get in trouble. So look, man, next week, everybody who's tuning in, you'll see us at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Corey time. I don't even know what was it, Midwest Texas time. Corey the only one in Texas.
Central Standard Time, my friend.
Where is everybody?
East Coast for Corey.
Corey. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Man, I gotta hurry.
Hey, make sure y'all know next week, man. Give him space. We gotta bring to the table what that means, because I do not
do that on Thanksgiving, though, dog. Like Thanksgiving week, like we gonna do that.
Is Thanksgiving next week?
Yep.
Oh, is Thanksgiving next week?
Give him space. Thanksgiving week. Oh man, this is gonna be good. Lord have mercy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, my mama gonna be here visiting me.
I found your body by then.
Man,
Yeah,
Lord have
exactly,
mercy.
Fred.
Y'all can find somebody. It's gonna be bad. Somebody.
And great comment. Yeah, every week it's just men. We rebranded. It's from his lips to her ears. There is a show, Lady Staples. Pastor Lamar's wife, Aisha, has a show on Thursdays. Lamar, I think, is at 7 p.m. and it's all women. Yeah, she's a great show. Man, several thousand views a week, man. She's on it. I mean, her show is popping. So any ladies who are thinking about, what are women thinking about these same types of things, jump on her show on Thursdays. We do this on Tuesdays, and it just makes for a great week.
There you go.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. Lord have mercy.
All right, y'all. Enjoy the week, man.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
Hey, it's a pleasure, man.
Peace, brother. Nice. Hey,
All right.
great talking with you guys.
Next week.
Listen, everybody.